Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on X4. This is just going to be a small video just to hopefully help the new players have a little bit less of an information overload. When you play the game at the beginning, there's a lot of information, and knowing what you need to know and knowing what's important is very, very important at the beginning of the game. What do I mean by that? Well, there's a lot of things that's going to pop up on your screen that you may be questioning what the hell everything is. And I just want to give you a little bit of advice on where you can go to kind of get the information from resources that are there and readily available at any time. So you don't have to remember everything and you don't have to worry about everything at the beginning. What is an example of this? Well, as you can see at the moment, I've got a few things on my screen. As a new player, I probably won't know what most of this is. For example, I've got three icons on my screen as I zoom out. There's this one here, and this one here. Now if I hover over, it does tell me what they actually are. You can see one's a Hat Argon trade station, one's a Argon shipyard, and one's an Argon wharf. However, they've got little icons by the side of them. What's these little circles with a little triangle at the beginning of them? What is everything? Okay, granted, you can probably work out what they are because they've got little white markers that show, oh well, it's probably a route that goes from one point to another point. But what actually is it? So there's a very easy way you can find everything out and remind yourself whilst you're playing. If you go over to the right hand side here, you've got filter settings, legend information. The game comes with a handy legend. This drops in and it'll show you what everything is. I'm just going to go quickly through a few of these bits because there's quite a lot of them. So the first one, and the important one, is this top one really here. It tells you everything about what's on the map. And the second one as well starts going down, and as you can see there's little information as well. But this is the very important bit because this is actually the physical stuff. Unknown location. That's this grey stuff here. As you start looking around, you'll notice that there's colours that pop on. These little sectors here. Everything's like a little hexagon on the map. Mineral region. That's where you're going to find your silicons and your ores and your ice. Gas region. So if you find a blue gas region, we might be able to find one around here. I can't see one just off the top here. Maybe one in there. Nope. I don't think we have any more at the moment. This is on this start at the moment. I think this is all just mineral. Yep. So the blue one is just gas only. So there's only going to be your hydrogens, your methanes and stuff like that. And the purple one, which we have seen, which is here, is both. So it'll have both mineral and gas. More information on that later about, how you can pick out what they are and stuff like that. This is just an overview. From there, we've got the jump gate connection. So we now know that these white lines are now the jump gate connections. So we can see what one jump gate connects to the other. And it also gives you a little handy pop-up as well when you cursor over it. It doesn't do that for everything, but it does do it for the large objects. We can also see that there's super highways. That is a super highway. And then you have a local highway, which is what's in the same sector, which is this lighter blue here. This is a local highway because it connects one point to another, which then goes to a super highway, which connects two sectors within a main sector. You also can tell that these here also have their own symbols. So you get these little arrows here. That's a super highway gate. So we know now that there's a super highway gate. And if we zoom in here, you can see there's nothing here, so there's no accelerator. However, in some sectors, there are accelerators. I can't see one on the map at the present, I believe. Nope, none on the map at the moment, but you will see them, and they are slightly different. It's basically like a jump gate with an open gap on it. So there will be areas with accelerators. Owned stuff is your greens, so you're always green. Neutral is the blue, so if you zoom in, you'll see the neutrals. Enemy is your tentative stuff. So stuff like where they're not quite hostile to you, but you can destroy them. Well, you can, to be fair, you can attack even the neutral stuff as well, but they are more likely to attack you. So if you find these, be careful because they can attack you. Hostile does what it says on the tin, they're hostile. So zooming back out again, these large icons generally pop up quite a lot. Headquarters, which you will learn about if you play the game through, and I'm not going to spoil you much about the headquarters, but it will pop up with a star in it, so you will always know where your headquarters are. There are faction headquarters, which are the ones with these little icons around the outside of the box. Little, like, almost like a cog. And a standard shipyard or standard wharf is without them. So a nice little hexagon without the little markers around them. What's the difference between the two? Faction headquarters will have a faction representative, which is another icon which I'll pop up and show you in a minute. But they're important to know because that's where you're going to get your blueprints from for any of your buildings, any of your stations, any upgrading any of your gear, which will be covered in the new player guide as well. Everything else you're going to need to know about is on here as well. Equipment docks, important if you want to upgrade your ships or if you want to just add new equipment to it. So satellites, advanced satellites, sometimes they'll have turrets and stuff like that. Training stations, which you can already see one here, which is the C and A inside it. Defense stations, defense platforms. If we zoom in, you'll notice we start getting defense platforms, which are slightly bigger than the normal stations, but slightly smaller than your main stations. So your shipyards, your wharfs, your equipment docks. I believe they're similar size, and your trade stations. Free ports, you'll also notice there are free ports that pop around. There is one around the Hattickford area, but I can't see it on the map at the present moment, but there is one there. And it's got these little cross blades. That's your free ports. And then it goes into what everything else is. So pharmaceuticals, farm, agricultural, ship technology, high-tech, refined, water, energy, and factory. Factory is what everything starts out with. So any new buildings, I believe there is one over here. No, it looks like it's actually been built. So as you build them, they become factories, and then as you start to put modules on them, and the modules get built,
please halt.
They will then.
Be scanning your inventory.
Ugh, thank you for scanning me while I'm busy. They will pop up what these icons are. So, for example, if you've got a food area, they'll become a farm. Agricultural is obviously more of a food stuff. Ship tech and high tech are things to do with your ship. So, if I built like a weapons component, it would say weapon component facility. As you can see here, missile component, shield component, weapon component. But you can see they're all ship technology. So, at a glance, if I zoom out like that, I can see what everything is. Oh, there's a factory there. It is a defense platform because they've put the defense platform stuff in it. However, because it's not built, it's classed as just a standard factory. Now, the next one is all of the ships. You can see each ship has a difference in size. So, for example, a small one is just these single icons here. Your next size up will have a bar underneath them. Your next size up again will have a second bar underneath them. And your third one is big icons like these. We've already seen there's the builder there. Nice big icon, big compared to what the other ones are. And the same is for any other XL ship. We can also see drones on there. So if I was to zoom right away in, and if this was busy, you may actually see these little drones. And again, they've got their own icons, so it tells you what they are. Everything else, they pop up on all of your updates. So for example, if we do trades, you see these little hexagons here. There are other little bits and bats that will pop up on your screen, and this is what these are for. So this is down to your trade. So you can see the trade volume. So you can tell now, well actually, what the hell is these for? Oh, it's trade volume. Oh, okay, so there's less trade volume there. And as you can see, we can see the numbers. You also have this icon here, next to the hull parts. We know that's station construction trade. So we know that somewhere, as you can see, it's the station that's being built. That's for station construction. So that's going to be highly required. And there's illegal trades that pop up on there and supply trades as well. Your deployables. All of your deployables and missions will pop up. And again, all of them will give you information. During combat, you'll see this red little icon here, and you'll see it flying around everywhere. That's your missiles. We already know we've got satellites, and again, it's in colour. Green is for us. Get the trade off so we can see it. Green is for us. Blue is for neutral, and again, any red icons are your hostile ones. They all do match the colour scheme. Save for resource probes, nav beacons, point of interest, and all the other stuff. They will pop up. You also have, as I mentioned earlier, your faction representative. You also have a person of interest, so it'll have like a mission or something like that. A black marketeer, so if there's a black market that you find. And then any mission offers will be popped up there as well. Last but not least, all of the information that you're telling your ships. For example, this ship is flying, so it's got a little 2 down arrow, which is fly. If I tell it to dock, it will have a little dock icon on it. If they're attacking or following anything whatsoever what they're doing, you'll notice these little icons will pop up. These are all the ones that you give them jobs. Again, all will pop up. So the game has got you a legend, so you can figure out everything, and you don't need to worry too much about remembering everything. But there is also another treasure trove of information that people tend to forget about, and that is the Encyclopedia, which is in your top bar here. And if we click on the Encyclopedia, you notice that you have a lot of entries depending on what you do, and this will update over time. And I covered satellites previously, which you'll notice I've read already. If I did a drop down, you can see that I have information about satellites. It gives you everything you need to know about them. This is also said about ships. So these are the ships that you will know about. And as you can see, it gives you a lot of information. It gives you your hull integrity, what ship type it is, the ship size, the mass, your speed depending on engines. You can see here max speed. It tells you with a split small combat engine Mark IV, it can do 289 meters a second. Your turning pitches, your responsiveness, everything, anything you wanted to know about a ship will have it here. And if you have a look, it gives you what you know. So I know that because I've got combat engine Mark IVs. That's the best bit I can give. You got carriers and destroyers because that's the only other thing we've seen. And as you start to see more ships and you start to get out there, this will populate and it will give you the information you know. Now, because, like I mentioned before, we've used the combat engines, we know the information. However, we haven't built one of these yet, so we don't know the information yet. But as you go about and you scan ships, or you find one and you're close enough to get the information from it, or you actually build them and stuff like that, this will then populate. You'll also notice these have turrets, so it gives you the turret information. It also tells you who produces them: Argon, Hatikvan, Scale Plate Pact. It gives you the resources, so you can see what it produces. What it requires to produce. And last but not least, which I do find really, really good about the game, it's probably my favourite bit about the game, is the lore dump that you get from all of the ships. So, for example, the Behemoth Vanguard, which is there's a carrier. The original design of the Behemoth class destroyer, it's a destroyer, was put into development midway through the Kark conflict, during which the Titan class was beginning to show its age and inefficiencies. At first too expensive for a crippled Argon economy, then too complex to produce quickly during the Terran conflict, the first Behemoth did not ship out until long after that war had ended, and the jump gates had begun to catastrophically fail. It was only when Argon Prime and Black Hole Sun came back into contact that the Behemoth could be rolled out more frequently. So it gives you a little bit of a lore dump, which I love. And it's the same about most of the ships. Some only have a little bit. The Ares meets the much demanded need for a Paranid heavy fighter, loaded with weapons, hard points and shield generators. The Ares can take both and deliver a beating. Again, that's a lot more information, which is nice. You see all different informations, which I really do like. And that's the same for galaxies. Now, the galaxy also has more information. You can see what the natural resources are. You can also see what known stations are currently there, and you also get star system information. So it tells you its environment is clear space, it's a yellow dwarf, and it's got an Earth analog. And it tells you a little bit about the actual planet and trades. This here is a goldmine of information because it tells you what they're buying and what they're selling. And you can see at a glance they're selling food rations. So you can see the information they're buying. We know energy cells, quite popular. Okay, it's dropped down here, still one of the highest levels. So you can see at a glance what you want to kind of... Oh, well, hold on a second. If I got an energy cell production in Argon Prime, there's good trades there for it. So it's a little bit at a glance, which is really useful. And the same can be done once you find out, see, 18 billion. We know information about 18 billion. Gives you the top 4 buying and top 4 selling. Again, that nice bright red there. Ooh, methane. Energy cells. Ooh. Gives you plenty of information. You also get a timeline.
Earth scientists create jump gates.
And ship comparison. I'm not going to leave it on the timeline because it will talk through all sorts of stuff, but it gives you a timeline of the lore. And the final one is the ship comparison. You can add ships. Small, Ares heavy fighter, high preset. So this is what you can have readily available do. I can go XL ship, Mammoth Sentinel builder. We can't edit it because we haven't got anything for it. Let's see if I can get a large. Nope, no presets for that one. Let's do a. We should really compare fires anyway. An Ares and an Eclipse Vanguard, high preset. There we go. So this gives you a overview side by side. Now this isn't. You got to bear in mind this doesn't tell you a full story. What I mean by that is yes, on paper things are a little bit up or down, but there are differences that you kind of feel when you're playing the game. But it's good to know, kind of at a glance, what the differences are. Two advanced fires. So we can already see the Ares and the Eclipse Vanguard. The Eclipse Vanguard has less hulls, shields, and the recharge. However, it has higher speed, boost speed, travel speed, and the yaw pitch and rolls, which means that it's more agile. It also means that because it's got more agility, it's got a slightly higher container storage. You can also see it's got one higher crew. This information here is really useful because when you come to doing your miners, so let's take these off for a second. And I want to go right. Well, I'm starting a mine, and I've got only got fighters in here. We got any miners or anything? Yeah, we'll do the 2 transports. We can't because we've got no equipment for them. That's a shame. What you could do if you had the information unlocked for them is you could basically place, say hypothetically, the 2 transport ships, and I want to level up my crew. So I want the one that has the highest crew capacity. And you can just add all of the ships up to a certain number. I think it's 4, I think it is. And you can see at a glance, well, hold on, that takes more crew. Well, if I take that one, my crew, when they go around doing jobs and stuff like that, they're going to level up. And you're going to level more crew members up. Just as an example for information you might want to know. You might want to know which one's got the better defences, or one's got better, armaments, or better hull. If it's taking a beating, if you're in an area that's, you need to get your ships over. Ship survive a little bit longer, so you want one with a higher shield capacity. Things like that is where you're going to find from your ship comparison. So, as I said, there's a treasure trove of information within the game. You just got to find it and use it to your best advantage. But don't worry about having information overload. I just told you a load of stuff there, but everything is still here within the legend. Always here, readily available for you, and again in your encyclopedia. So don't panic about the information overload. Hopefully that's given you a little bit of an insight into the information that is within the game. There is also a treasure trove of information on all of the YouTubers that do it. Even I sometimes forget stuff, so I'll go to my favourite YouTuber, Captain Collins, and I'll go on to him and I will, check out stuff that he does, and I'll be like, oh, I just need some information and I can't remember. Or, if I've taken a break for a while and I just want to refresh on something, for example, boarding, and I'm like, oh, how do I do the boarding again? Best bet is find a YouTuber. Find one that you like. Hopefully I'm a part of that. But remember, there are others out there who cover a lot more different things, and who do specialised stuff, or some who just play the game a lot more. So bear that in mind. But hopefully that has helped you out. If it has, please make sure you hit that thumbs up. Let me know you have enjoyed it. Remember to hit that bell notification and subscribe if you'd like to find more information about generally X4 and other games that I play. But until next time, everybody, take care for now, and I shall see you all in the next one. Bye bye for now.